FEAPO is the Federation of Enterprise Architecture Professional Organizations. In many ways, it's kind of the United Nations for this space. Enterprise architecture is very fragmented. There are many professional organizations that claim to represent either the profession as a whole or pieces of the profession. There are business architecture groups, data and information architecture groups, software architecture groups, and on and on and on. Over the years, I've been asked to be on the boards and working groups of many of these organizations. And while I saw a lot of good work being done, I also saw a tremendous amount of reinvention of the wheel, so to speak. So, for example, one group would come out with their competency standards for the profession, and the other groups that weren't involved in that effort then would come out with their own. And it created a lot of fragmentation and, frankly, a lot of confusion for professionals working in the field. So about 4 years ago, what I decided to do is try to bring these groups together, see if we can present more of one face to this profession and jointly progress the profession. So I invited the presidents of the 6 larger professional organizations that were involved with our center here to Penn State for kind of a summit meeting, if you will, to talk about the issues and talk about how we might better present more of one face, better communicate, coordinate efforts, et cetera. And I wasn't sure if they would come, and they all came. Then I wasn't sure if anything productive would come from the discussion. But what came from the discussion is this concept of the Federation of Enterprise Architecture Professional Organizations, an organization of organizations to bring these organizations together to help them better collaborate on efforts and present more of one face to this profession. Honestly, I think it was more of a united we stand, divided who knows what's going to happen to this profession. So from those 6 original organizations, we're now up to about 20 professional organizations from around the globe. We're getting attention from the United Nations and other reputable international groups. And we've come a long way in a relatively short period of time. So I think the time for this idea was right. Also, something unique about this organization, as we studied other industries that have tried similar things, in almost every case they failed. And that's usually because it's one of the larger organizations approaching the smaller, and they're always met with mistrust and skepticism, et cetera. Here we have a university, so my role is to be Switzerland in all of this, so to speak. I'm not here to favor one organization over another. I'm here to bring everyone together and try to jointly progress this profession and this discipline. And I think that role has been very much needed. In the beginning, hopefully over time, it'll be needed less so as the organization evolves and the organizations get to know each other and build rapport with one another. And I'm very encouraged. We've met some major milestones as an organization. We're moving forward. We have a very robust set of projects and a roadmap of activities that we feel needs to be done to progress this profession. So when I describe FEAPO to people, not only did I use the United Nations analogy, but I also use, for people in the United States, the underwriter's laboratory analogy. So if you see the underwriter's laboratory seal on a product, you know it's been tested and meets certain quality standards. We really need this for enterprise architecture today. We have a growing explosion of certifications and a lot of, frankly, fly-by-night certification organizations. And we need some type of accrediting body to help certify or accredit legitimate certifications and maybe weed out some of the ones that are more fly-by-night, so to speak. So how we're planning to do this, we're developing a career path project within FEAPO where we're going to jointly develop and establish different branches of the enterprise architecture career path and the different roles and responsibilities that are attributed to each of these branches. Then if an organization has a certification that they feel maps to a certain part of this career path, they can bring it to FEAPO. The FEAPO members will review it. There'll be a vote. And if the vote's positive, then that group will be able to use the FEAPO endorsement. So much as we see the underwriter's laboratory endorsement on products, if we're successful with this in a few years, the FEAPO endorsement will mean something to practitioners. It will mean that this particular certification maps to a certain part of the career path structure. It does what it says it does, and it meets certain quality standards. And I think that's very much needed in this profession right now. There's several unique dimensions that FEAPO brings to the master's program. First, as we continue to evolve the profession, we're going to see coming trends in the profession through the FEAPO organizations first. And those trends, as they evolve, then will be reflected in our curriculum. And we'll be able to talk about what we see coming in the profession to the students in our master's program, as well from a research standpoint. When we're doing applied research that's of interest to our master's students and their employers, through the FEAPO network, we have access to hundreds of thousands of professionals from around the globe. So we have a unique ability to collect data from these folks, recognize trends early, and then have those trends and evolutions in the profession reflected in our curriculum.